So Jennifer, Google tools seem to always be growing, new tools going into new areas, especially for education. You are a proponent of a Google tool called NotebookLM. I have really not heard a lot about it. I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about it and how it's used. Please go right ahead. Thank you.
So Google calls this like, I think it's like your personalized AI assistant or research assistant. What I think is so great about it is very often one of the things where when you're trying to get teachers or students to use AI, you hear, well, it might not be like accurate. Well, the thing that's great about Notebook LM is when you ask it a question or you ask it to do something, it's only pulling from the information that you feed it. So you can upload all of your course information. You can upload whatever type of documentation, whether it be websites, Google Docs, PDFs, whatever it is. And then that becomes its database for you to draw from. So I first heard about it maybe a couple months ago, and I shared it with, we have a tech committee at our school of people who are just tech focused and want to try different pilots and whatnot. So I sent it to them. I said, I haven't played around with this. It looks pretty cool. Someone said that it can generate a podcast based on what you feed it. Like, go nuts, do your best. And I would say within like an hour and a half, I had multiple members of my science department that ran their course materials through it. And then what it does, that's really cool. Like one of the things it does a lot of things. It can generate outlines, questions, different study materials. But what it does is it creates a realistic podcast episode that it sounds like when you listen to it, it's a little trippy because it sounds like real people. It's a male voice and a female voice, and they have a podcast, super informal, about whatever topic you choose. So someone fed it a whole bunch of information about their science curriculum that they were doing, and there was a 11-minute podcast about Unit 1 that students could listen to on their way to and from school. It can do so much, and one of my favorite things about this is it's also a terrific example of biases in AI, which we know about. If you listen, no matter what the topic is, the male host on the podcast talks over the female host. And it's just one of those things that you hear and you're like, I wonder where it learns that sort of behavior from. And, I could do a whole TED talk about that. I won't go into too much, but it's really a tremendous tool. I can see it being used in so many different ways for both teaching purposes, but then also for, administrative purposes. We're currently building like a chat bot with it where we fed it a lot of our internal documentation, student handbooks, family handbooks, and so on and so forth. And then if you have a question, hey, what's our policy about smartwatches? You can ask Notebook LM that question, and it can say, well, smartwatches are not allowed at all in the lower school. They're allowed in the upper school, and it will give you that information rather than you having to find and comb the handbook yourself for that answer.